everyone, and welcome to episode 64 of Weird Mind Newsroom, where this week we have another little mix of content of new releases, a fair few trailers, and a couple of long news stories. And let's not waste too much time and let's get into what came out this week.
We're caught in a trap.
So it's time we start with the first of the new releases with the new take of an all-new experience of the man of the twist ending in their projects as M.Night Shyamalan brings us a new killer thriller with the new film of Trap. This will see Josh Hartnett's character bring his daughter to a Lady Raven concert and soon start to become suspicious of the massive police and security presence at the event, where he will learn from the vendor that the concert is set up as a trap for the serial killer known as the Butcher. But unbeknownst to the vendor, that he is speaking to the man himself and will soon have to use his skills and smarts to avoid being captured by the law. The reception to this new film is a little more mixed, with praise to its concept and to Josh Hartnett's performance, and even to Shalika Shyamalan also getting some praise, with some issues relating to some low stakes and a bit of it going a little all over the place by the end of it, and also seeing the case that this villain is a bit of an idiot. But if you want to see what the man, the twist ending will come up with this, then you can catch this new all-singer, no-killer thriller out now in cinemas. But if you're looking for a more of a colourful and louder type project and based on a popular series of games, then this may be the one for you, as we have the new release, the long-delayed video game film adaptation of Borderlands. This will follow the character of Lilith, played by Cate Blanchett, a bounty hunter who returns home to her home planet of Pandora and will soon see herself team with a ragtag group of misfits in order to find a hidden vault with untapped amounts of treasure, and must find the daughter of the universe's most powerful SOBs, Atlas, who may hold the key to obtaining what lies inside the vault. Reception to this film has been universally panned though, with issues stemming from its flat chemistry, its action feeling a little clunky and looking both big budget and very cheap at the same time. Though some performances, in particular I'd say to Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart and Jack Black, have gotten some praise, and a bit of the action is also gotten some form of decent appeal here and there. And it might be a case of re-ranking along the list of the worst reviewed films of 2024 in most cases. But if you want to check it out for yourself, then you can do so out now in cinemas. But if thrillers and game adaptations is not your appealing nature and you would much rather have something a bit more of a romantic nature, then you are in luck, as we have the last of new films for this week is just with the release of the new film of It Ends With Us. This film is based on the book of Colleen Hoover and is also about being a controversial for the subject matter, and will follow Lily Bloom as she moves to Boston to start her own business, where she will meet the charming neurosurgeon Ryle Kincaid, and they form a connection, but soon sees sides of the relationship that remind her of her parents' own relationship. However, when Lily's first love, Atlas Corrigan, re-enters her life, the relationship with Ryle gets upended and soon leaves her with an impossible choice. Reception to this film has seen some mixed reception, with praise towards the performances and tackling of the heavy subject matter, though it gets dragged down by the messy and clunky dialogue of the script and some other drama that this movie has caused online. But if you're looking for a film that has a bit of sadness to the tale, then you can catch this new film out now in cinemas. And finally, it's time to mess up the timelines for one last go around, as it's time to say goodbye to all those misfits as we receive with the final season of The Umbrella Academy. The final season will see the estranged siblings of their late adopted father come together for one last go around to save the world and the universe from total destruction from the use of some strange powers and restoring the effects of the timelines by any means necessary. Reception to this last season has also seen some mixed reception from critics, but has been lambasted by audiences, calling it a very messy and disappointing finale, which may have also been affected by the drama and allegations made towards the showrunner in the series of a toxic work environment and some other stuff. But if you want to see how this series comes to a close, then you can catch the final season out now on Netflix. And with all that, that's all the new releases that we have for this week.
Saturday night, I feel the air is getting hot.
Live from Dublin, Ireland, it's new trailer time! As the first of the new trailers is taking us back almost 50 years ago to the realm of the late night comedy show that has stood the test of time for years. Comedy may be varied for people, and even helped bring back laughter in the darkest times, and showing how it almost fell apart as we have the trailer for the new true story of Saturday Night. The film will tell the story of the ordeal of Lorne Michaels and his ensemble cast as they prep to shoot and film over the 90 minutes until airing the first ever live episode of the cultural award-winning Saturday Night Live on October 11th, 1975, and everything could have failed on that night, with everything going wrong, and find a way to make it all work out. So I've heard rumblings of this project for a little bit of time, and I thought it was just going to be like a documentary kind of thing. It did seem like an interesting approach, as I had not heard much about the story of how messy it was to make the original and how it became a comedic and box smash success when everything could have crashed and burned. It's also being directed and written by the son of the father that may have been one of the original showrunners, and also created Ghostbusters. And honestly, this looks like it'd be worth a watch and have some entertainment value to it. We'll see how it turns out when it releases sometime soon later this year here. Will release in the US on October 11th this year. Right, so trailers and news is basically going to be taken up by D23 content, so we're going to start off the content from the weekend D23 with the first trailer on the next film in the series of unnecessary live action remakes, and the film that I'm currently still working on for the rewatch-a-thon, and that will see the origins of the King of Pride Rock with the trailer of Mufasa the Lion King. This new prequel sequel will tell the story about the legend Mufasa, an orphaned lion cub who becomes acquainted with a new brother named Taka, who would in the future become the villainous line of Scar, and how they went from simple cubs to become the legendary king of the Pride Lands. So there is aspects I can appreciate this, trying a new story that we have not seen with this Lion King series in live action or animated, and the visuals still look phenomenal. Though I am keeping my expectations low for this one, just in the outcome of the last entry, but I'll probably give this a look when the film releases just before Christmas on December 20th. Next to the realm of animation, as for the moment it is as we're heading on an all-new naval adventure with the return of a popular Polynesian princess with the newest trailer for the upcoming sequel of Moana 2. This will be set a few years after the events of the original and see Moana be called back into action to save her tribe and all others out beyond the oceans when a message to the ancestors calls her to stop a curse placed on a mysterious island far off in the distance. With the aid of demigod Maui and a new ragtag crew, they will sail to the new island and restore harmony to the vast oceans beyond. I think when it sounds to stuff it is interesting and it does look visually great and very colourful. I hope that it has a bit of a chance of working out and not just feel like a TV series stretched out into a film, which was how this was initially planned. And we'll find out how it all plays out when it sets sails in the cinemas on November 29th. As for the one bit of footage that I can share from Pixar, as other bits were exclusive to the event, we have received a small little look at the upcoming first original series of the streaming service in the form of the sports comedy series of Win or Lose. The series will be focused on a little league baseball team known as the Pickles and will follow a different member of the team leading up to the big game and will be told through unique different art styles for every episode. So I've been wondering when we would hear word about this series, and from the small snippet shown, I'm very excited to check out this series in particular. And thankfully, we do have a release date for it now, as we expect a release onto Disney Plus on December 6th. But then from one streaming series to another, as we head to a galaxy far, far away, for the next entry of trailers, as we have received the first look at the new series based on Star Wars with Skeleton Crew. The series will be following a group of younglings as they are about to head into the biggest change of their lives, but before they can deal with that, they will soon discover a massive secret about their home planet, get themselves lost in space, and must find a way to get back home with the assistance of a mysterious Jedi. So straight away, just from the trailer, I can get the tone is giving me a mix of like E.T., Stranger Things, Spielberg's AI film in some shape with the old droids and stuff, and a bit of some classic Star Wars in there as well. From the small glimpse, it does look promising, and hopefully will probably feel different to the other forms of Star Wars, kind of like how Andor was and Mandalorian and all that stuff. But I'm excited to check it out when it all turns out when it starts releasing on Disney Plus from December 3rd. The second last trailer that we can get from this event will bring a wicked nature to the side of the streaming services, as a witch's call harkens you forward as you have received a new trailer for the new miniseries from Marvel with Agatha All Along. This series will be set after the events of WandaVision, follow Agatha Harkness, who has been stripped of her powers by Wanda, and soon with the assistance of a ragtag group to form an odd little coven, will see them travel down the dark path of the Witch's Road in order for them to obtain the powers back, or become full Wiccans and survive the horrifying ordeal. So I mentioned a little while back that I actually really enjoyed WandaVision, even if some of the latter half was a little messy or rushed in some places, but in all sense and purpose, I think this series looks like it is going to be an interesting watch, and hopefully it will go down the tone of Werewolf by Night or something much darker for a spooky outcome for Halloween, and I'm sure we will see how it all plays out when it hits the stream on Disney Plus with a 2-episode premiere on September 18th. And the last trailer for the moment will prove who may be the fairest or the most drama-filled of them all, as we have the new trailer for the second of the live-action remakes that got a trailer this week, with the first look at Snow White. The plot for this film seems to stem from the original of following the fair princess as she must flee from the torment of the evil queen, and this played by Gal Gadot, who is jealous of her being the fairest in the land, and soon finds herself in a small cottage with a group of 7 little men who will be there to protect her. So I mentioned briefly that this is one that's full of drama, and there is to do mainly with the base of this going through development changes with the 7 dwarf characters, mainly Rachel Zegler making some comments about the original and how it will be different. And the basis, there's some drama with Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen, and her opinions on the ongoing conflict, but I'm not focusing on that, and so far from the first look, it doesn't look too bad. There's a bit of issues with like the dress, kind of looks a bit messy in some sense, but maybe the final film might make it look better. But it seems decent and probably be worth watching to see how it all turns out when the film releases on March 21st of next year in cinemas. Of all that, that's all the trailers that we have for this week. So we may as well get it out of the way, and let us delve into the news with the focus story being on the main event for this week, and that is with the massive event of D23 taking place this weekend in Anaheim. I've already decided I dedicate most of this week's trailer section to the films that we did get some looks to, but this section will be bringing up any news from the other sections that we learned about the event or some that got footage shown but was only exclusive to the event, unless you look hard enough on YouTube and Twitter and find it leaked online there. But I'll give some more context of each section and break them down when I can. So starting with Disney Animation, while we got a new look at the newest entry with the Moana sequel, which you saw in the trailers, we do have two other projects of animation we know are on the way, with the first being the sequel to the other 2016 Disney film hit of Zootopia. It's not Zootropolis, that's what it's called over here, but I'm calling it Zootopia, where most they've shown into public along with some new concept art showing some characters old and new, including the main duo of Nick and Judy, as well as a statue of them, as well as the event discussing a main new addition is more reptiles, particularly with snakes being a focus in the new case, with one that asks for help in the case is a new snake named Gary. That'll be voiced by Oscar winner Ke-Huy Quan. And besides that, they've shown some first look footage of a new location of Marsh Market, of a location of semi-aquatic animals. It all sounds like it'll be an enjoyable new area, and I think this film has a lot of untapped potential to experience. And I wonder if it'll add in the concept part of a city that initially planned the original that was like where they can go back to their original animal states or something, but I guess we'll have to find out when the film drops next November. The only other piece of animation news that we know about from the concept of the confirmed third Frozen film that I've seen not much shown off besides some little concept work and a confirmation it will be releasing now in November 2027, keeping 2026 open for probably a new original or something. The length is probably to do with what happened with the last entry of the second movie, as it was a bit of a mess that they were about like less than a year out and they still hadn't the story mapped out and it was like getting a bit close, and it's the reason why people are kind of a bit uncertain about Frozen 2's story. They mentioned there's a lot of questions still to unanswer, and they also hinted at a possible Frozen 4, but that was already confirmed a couple of months ago that was happening. I'll have to see how this comes together by the time the film releases in 3 years time. So in between the next section of animation discussion, there was one other project that got a focus, and it was one film from Fox, and with the big focus on that was a little update to the third film in the Avatar series, which was not showing any footage. They didn't unveil anything, but they did unveil a new title and some concept art for the settings of the next entry, which is now being titled of Fire and Ash, replacing the old title of The Seed Bearer. I'll be introduced to the Fire Navi this time around, with a new look at them in the concept art, which looks pretty decent. Now, not much else was given on any update, but we will most likely learn more over the next few months up to its release in December 2025. Next, we're moving into Pixar, as they unveiled in most cases, starting off with a big thanks to the audience and everyone for checking out the Inside Out 2 review, Inside Out 2. And you can check my review out over here. And making such a huge success, and with that also announced a new spin-off series for early next year, based on the movie studio in the head of Riley's with Dream Productions, that looks like it's going to get zany and wacky with the concepts, and also a bit of a mockumentary style to it, so I look forward to seeing what they'll make of that series. Then after that, there was the unveiling of the next Pixar series of Win or Lose. Then they of course talked on the next project coming out from the studio in the form of the new original of Elio, which garnered a small tease of the galaxy of exploration, a look at some of the characters in the film, and added an addition of Zoe Saldana to the movie's cast. Nothing major was shown, which is odd given a trailer was already released for said film a year ago before it was delayed, but I'm sure we'll learn more about this by the time it releases in June of next year. So now it's time to return to the toy box, as we gave a bit of a small update to the most case unnecessary sequel of Toy Story 5, which is planned for release of summer 2026. We got a bit of an info on the director and how the plot will play out. The film is now confirmed to be directed by Andrew Stanton, who, as mentioned a while back, who also directed the Finding Nemo films as well as WALL-E, and we know the plot will be seeing the toys going up against the modern competition for kids entertainment now, which is technology, with some new concepts showing that has to deal with some 50 play mode Buzz Lightyears that are a bit busted. So the basis of some of the plot sounds a little like the initial planned Toy Story 3 of a Buzz malfunctioning and sent back to the factory where he was with, and the toys going off to China or Taiwan to rescue him. But it does concept also brings up some other issues. This seems to either retcon but also canonize the last film, as Woody is in the image even though he stayed behind with Bo at the end of Toy Story 4, and also Forky is there as well, making it a bit messy of whether Bo, Ducky, Bunny and Duke Kaboom will also appear in this, or if it'll be one of the alternate endings they had planned for the film, but I guess we'll have to explain as more pieces of the film start to unveil before the summer 2026 release. It's not the only Pixar film in 2026, it seems there will be another original film following Elio coming out in the spring of that year in the form of a film called Hoppers. That seems to involve a young girl putting her mind into the control of a robotic beaver and soon learn the massive city of beavers led by a king. And there is an evil mayor that's being voiced by John Hamm, and that's all I know of the project, but I always find some interest in Pixar's originals overall. I think that was all for Pixar. Well, except for this. Yes, early after being hinted at early this year before the release of Inside Out 2, they have come out and unveiled as the big final piece of the Pixar event, who will be getting a third film in The Incredibles. No release date or year has been made, but it's confirmed that Brad Bird will be back to direct the feature, and hopefully it will improve on a stronger story and villain and given all the time needed to make it epic. But yeah, I look forward to whenever that is, and I think Pixar had a pretty decent strong lineup. So on to Marvel, and while the only piece of footage shown online was the new Agatha series out in a month's time, we did get some info on mainly the next two films and some of the shows in the pipeline, and start off with a new look at Brave New World, which unveiled the trailer for those in attendance, and most that was shown online was a clean-cut shot of the end of the trailer showing Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk. And he looks pretty good, I have to say. And I'm sure this will be seeing some more appealing for people who were disappointed by the use of Hulks in recent MCU content, but we'll see when the film drops in February. As for the other film, we got a bit of showcase in the event. We were given a look at the cast of Fantastic Four First Steps, which sees the cast in some stylish garb, and in the case of Joseph Quinn's Johnny Storm, we got a first look at one of the forms of the costumes that is a nice blend of white and blue, a balance of style and comfort, and it looks like a classic approach to the suits. I think it's like a callback to that never released 90s Fantastic Four film or something like that, I believe, but I'm sure we'll see more down the line once more content comes along with everyone in the suits and stuff, and close to release the project, as well as seeing how the Thing will look once he's been given the full CGI treatment. Overall, they look really well. I like the costumes. Next up was a bit of an unveiling of the cast and director of Ryan Coogler being involved with some information about the long-delayed Ironheart series, which has also unveiled some footage of the event that gives a look at the new suit and some of the aspects of the plot, which I believe was only event-only footage, but as I mentioned already, it has been leaked online on Twitter and social media and YouTube, which doesn't sound too bad and be worth to see when it comes in when it releases sometime later next year. And then the last of the content from the Marvel section comes from the focus of the highly anticipated release of Daredevil Born Again, that saw some of the original group appear on stage, as well as seeing some footage shown to the audience, which is also leaked online, and I have seen it, and it looks rad as hell, and on tone with the original 3 seasons from Netflix. And also confirmed that a second season is also in the works, so it looks like they've turned the whole project around and made it work all the same. I look forward to seeing the Mount of Fear when it drops in March of next year. Now on the basis of Star Wars, we did get the Skeleton Crew trailer, but we're not the only bit of footage shown at this. There was also some new look at the upcoming next film in the saga with the Mandalorian and Grogu film coming out in May 2026. That saw some sizzle reel from the first 3 seasons, then some new footage including a character from Rebels appearing from his cameo in season 3, and a bit of a chicken walker fighting some AT-ATs and stuff in a snowy mountain area. And it looks like he's taking the duo on a dangerous mission, whatever that will be. It was leaked online, but for which I thought they hadn't filmed anything yet, because it's another 2 years out, but you know, Pedro Pascal's busy. But it sounds like it could work out well and hopefully be on the level of quality as the first 2 seasons of the show. We'll see by May 2026. The only other Galaxy-based news we got was a bit of update to the upcoming second season of Andor, that will see the season span across 4 years in the show in particular, and also a confirmation that Forrest Whitaker and Ben Mendelsohn will be reprising their roles from the last season, but also from Rogue One, making an appearance in this season. Now, I hope we'll be on par with the excellent first season, and we'll have to find out when it does when it releases some point in 2025. And then the last section is in the form of the live action films, and I've already gave a bit of a discussion of the 2 in the trailers on Lion King and Snow White, and some other little bit was to bring up was the unveiling of a planned Broadway show based on The Greatest Showman is happening. Broadway version of the Frozen show will be hitting Disney Plus next year. Hercules will be hitting the West End in the UK sometime soon. And the likes of the Descendants series, which had a recent film, probably should have ended after one of the main stars tragically passed away when the third film came out, will be crossing over with the other popular series of Zombies, which most cases I've seen with this is a really cringe song of an animated series they made about being an alpha, which I died from cringe. But besides that, we got a bit of an update to the long-awaited sequel to the 2003 Disney Channel film of Freaky Friday, with Lohan and Jamie Lee coming out to announce some plot aspects of the film, a new title of Freakier Friday, and will be releasing into cinemas next year. It will be intriguing to see how it turns out when it does drop, and maybe worth checking out when it does, but let's keep expectations to a minimum. Speaking of a revival, we also got the first behind the scenes look at the upcoming sequel series of Wizards of Waverly Place with Beyond Waverly Place that will be dropping sometime next year, and from the aspect it seems interesting, but we'll have to see how it turns out, as there is proof that some sequel shows not working out as much as they can. I'm looking at you, iCarly reboot, but here is hoping it works in their favor. And the second last piece to talk on was the unveiling of some new content in relation to the upcoming third movie in the Tron series. Like most other event-only aspects, the footage of the trailer was leaked online, and it shows the main lead of Jared Leto's AI, Ares, has entered into the real world, and it seems to show some sense of not knowing how to deal with this new environment. I'm sure we will learn more about it over time. The other piece of info that we know about is that the following on from Daft Punk's work on the soundtrack for the film, and this new one is now going to be held by Nine Inch Nails. And I have seen the lead of that band has worked on past music before, I believe, but I'm sure we can work out just fine and see how it all turns out come the film's release next October. And lastly, there seemed to be a bit of a system takeover, and it led to something getting into the lot and causing some chaos before they busted onto the screen to reveal themselves to be none other than Experiment 626 or Stitch. As we got the first look at the live action counterpart, I'll say he actually looks pretty much well designed. Like, he looks decently well. It was questionable in case people were thinking it was going to be worried about the whole aspect. Along with him saying something quite questionable, especially how the first word sounds, we have the confirmed announcement that we will be seeing this live action iteration of Lilo and Stitch in the summer of next year, and knowing the director of this film made the heartwarming film of Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, I think this would be something worth checking out. With all that, that's basically everything unveiled at the A23 panel that I can provide, besides the Marvel Animation panel, which confirms some Phase 4 characters going to be in What If. It's going to be a 4-episode M-rated TV series, The Marvel Zombies, and then there's some stuff about like all these different characters for Spider-Man and new villains for X-Men 97. That's really all we got from the animation panel, but overall, some strong announcements this year. But I'd like to know your own opinions on all of that was announced, and what ones are you looking forward to the most overall, and what are you interested in checking out? Let me know your choices and thoughts are down below, and we can discuss them there. So, we do have two other stories I have in front of this, but I wanted to add this in next. I didn't want to end on a bit of a sour note, even though. But we had the unfortunate passing of two different people that were iconic in a different nature, but it's important to respect them in each sort of different way, you know. Give them a rundown here. So the first that he announced was a man named Jack Carlson. He may not be massively known for a lot of people, but the man was famous for a particular reason, and that was the famous clip from the early 90s that was dubbed as Democracy Manifest, which was a news segment in Australia of him being arrested at a Chinese restaurant, of him making multiple quotes that have lived on for years since then, with the identity of Jack being unknown for nearly 30 years until 2020. Now, he passed away earlier this week at the age of 82 after a battle with prostate cancer. Now, as for the second figure that passed away, just came in a few hours before recording this, and this was once a surprise shock to me, but it was an announcement of former CEO of YouTube of Susan Wojcicki. As I mentioned, she was the head of CEO of YouTube when they took over from the original host in 2014 until she stepped down from the role in 2023. She seemed to be one that, even if some of the content and choices that the platform has made over these years were a bit hit or miss to people, she still made an effort to help out the creators in many forms and methods, and it's the case that I may respect her efforts to run the platform. I do respect it, and I know myself make content for. Even if I may not be that big of a creator, I still appreciate the efforts that she made for the decade running the company. So she passed away on Friday, the age of 56, after a 2-year battle with a small cell lung cancer, and may her and Jack both rest in peace. So let's give it a moment. So moving on from a bit more of a lighter news story, we have news a bit about some sizzling reels, as on the night of the season finale of House of the Dragon Season 2, HBO and Max unveiled a new look ahead into the future with some of their most new content for the rest of this year, and even some big projects for the following year in 2025. And in this sense, I will give my quick thoughts on all that was unveiled in the teaser reel, with a big focus on them at the end. So on the basis of the ones we know of the projected release date or release window, it started off with a brief new look at the upcoming series of The Penguin that comes out on the 19th of next month, followed by a new series based on the series of Dune that's coming in November. They also showed off a new series of The Industry with Kate Harington that's also just dropped this week, Jim Crazy, which comes out next week, Hard Knocks, which comes out I believe this month or next month, new comedy series of The Franchise, which is coming out soon, and a teaser for a documentary on the creation of one of the most beloved series ever made of The Sopranos. Following on from this was a confirmation of a new season of Sex Lives of College Girls coming later this year, a new look at the upcoming Creature Commandos that drops in December, and a brief tease for the 5th season of Harley Quinn that is coming out in November. And that's basically all that was confirmed confirmed for 2024. Moving on to 2025, we saw the confirmation of a third season for the Emmy-nominated White Lotus is coming out. The third season of the Sex and the City sequel series of And Just Like That is on the way, with the return of Samantha in the new series, as she was not in the first two, and she had the whole grudge with Sarah Jessica Parker or something. And as well as a case of some new series entitled Duster and The Pit, a new season for the period drama of The Gilded Age, a proper first look at the upcoming prequel series of the recently made adaptation of Stephen King's It with Welcome the Derry, and the first footage of the second planned Game of Thrones prequel spin-off with A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. This all, of course, culminated with the unveiling of the first bit of footage for the highly anticipated second season of the award-winning video game adaptation of The Last of Us, which gave us a first look at some new action, Bella Ramsey's new hairstyle, the first look at Dina and Abby, as well as the character that Catherine O'Hara will be playing, which seems to be a character that was initially planned for the second game, which was a love interest for Joel, as well, that was, I think, cut from the final version, as well as a brief glimpse at the creepy infected, and I am hyped and not prepared to experience all the pain all over again from that second game, but all shown in a brief 2-minute sizzle reel. Now this would be where I would end the story for this particular one, but there is one other bit of news, and it relates to the aspect that brought this reel to the audience, and that's with House of the Dragon itself. As it was confirmed that the series has an ending planned, and looks like the show will be wrapped up with a fourth and final season confirmed to be in the works. Now, in my opinion, I felt season 2 was a little bit slow, but still entertaining, and I feel they're building to a big battle from the books. I can't remember the name, but the big naval battle. I think it makes sense to end it where it's due, and not overdo it like the original series, but overall it seems like HBO is on a roll with some of their content. But what do you think? What piece of content are you looking forward to the most, and do you think the House of Dragon ending with 4 seasons is a reasonable end, or do you think it more or less than that? Let me know what you think of them down below. And then this last story is going to be a quick brief update, but we have a quick new release date announcement coming your way that I will provide just with a bit of video game entertainment. So if you are aware, at different points over the last few weeks, we were treated to the announcement, story trailer, and gameplay for the upcoming new horror game based on the popular Quiet Place series with The Road Ahead, with the confirmation of a 2024 release. Well, now the wait is over, as after an accidental early release leak by PlayStation's social network, they have unveiled that The Quiet Place The Road Ahead will be releasing just in time for the spooky season, with a confirmed release date of October 17th. I think timing it for October month makes total sense and will fit the tension and fear, and now if the time is right, this will be a game that will see a series on my channel for sure. Now, if this will become a case that also reacts to microphone, then commentary is pretty much screwed, but hey, it'll fit the immersion more. But do you think, what do you think of this release date for the game, and will you be trying it out when it releases for Halloween, and will you watch me play it myself? You can check on this channel when it comes. I probably will hopefully have it by Halloween. Let me know your thoughts on this all down below, and with all that, that's all the news that we have for this week.
You know what time? Give up goodbye.
Alright, so with all of that ends episode 64 of Weird Mind Newsroom, and I hope you enjoyed listening to my rambles. It's probably going to be around 30 minutes or something like that. Sorry if I look a bit low, I'm just really going through things, just struggle, but I'm not going to delve into it too much. I'm going to give a quick few updates on the channel. So we'll start with reviews. I have one review ready to go in terms wise of written up. I just had to record it, which is my review for Despicable Me 4. I have a lot to say about this one in particular, but I don't think it'll be as long as, say, like Inside Out 2 or my planned one for Deadpool and Wolverine, which are probably going to be going in next, right up in the next few days or something like that. I have some other one planned down the line. I'm going to do some short ones, like I might do a short one for that SpongeBob one, because I watched it the other day and oh boy, it's rough. Anyway, that's probably going to come in the next few days. Gameplay wise, I have 3 parts ready to go. I'm probably going to upload one probably shortly after this recording is done. I have another 2 ready to go. I'm probably near the end of this game, so I might try and hopefully by the end of this week, or maybe the start of next week, or maybe some point next week to have the game finished, and then start on the other games that are basically confirmed to be the top rankings of PlayStation's Last of Us Part 1, Xbox is going to be Cyberpunk, and Switch is going to be Mario Wonder. But yeah, I'll get to them when I do, and I'm going to make some lists for like Wii, Wii U, PC, PS3, PS2, and pretty much any other console. Trying to figure out DS and stuff in PSP and PS Vita, but I'll see with that. Long form ones, the AI video I'm actually going to start writing up as well after this. Rewatch fun, I'm going to like finish watching some other ones now in a few moments. I'm going to start watching one of them at least to get ready for that ending of part 1, then hopefully record it by the end of this month, because I'm still going to aim for the end of this month or start of September. Other long form ones I'm going to get to down the line eventually, as well as like other reviews and other stuff like that, and other concepts and stuff like that, but I'll get to them eventually. But yeah, that's where I'm going to leave the episode for now. So if you enjoyed this video and want to see more from me, then simply like and subscribe, as I upload new videos every single week. And if you like and subscribe, I'll give you a virtual hug, a welcome a welcome embrace and like a cookie and probably some conversations, you know, kind of thing. Let me know your opinions of everything that was discussed down below, like your own thoughts and stuff. Like, did you see anything in the new releases, your opinions on the trailers, and your thoughts on all that was discussed in the news section, stuff like that. And in most cases, thanks for continuing the support and stuff like that, all the same, just in the variation numbers, but I appreciate all the support. And yeah, share around to people that might enjoy this stuff as well. But that's where I'm going to leave the episode for now. So as always, you all stay being wonderful people and have a great day every day, doing many great things, and of course to keep being you, because no one else can do what you do. And I thank you all for listening to my ramblings, even if I may be low energy and just going through the masses, but I appreciate the support all the same. And thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. So take care everyone, and farewell.